diabetes, heart disease, cancer, things like Alzheimer's.
We've got to ask ourselves what we need to do to make that happen. And that's what this entire program was designed to do, to become the most healthy and most exuberant, most vibrant that you can possibly be.
So we talked about some of the things that we can do to help with that. You kind of touched on them here already, but avoiding alcohol,
Yep.
Avoiding meats.
Yep.
You mentioned limiting drinking fluids with meals.
Right.
Expound on that a little bit.
Well, you want when I put something into my mouth to eat it and I start chewing it, I immediately begin producing amylase and other kinds of enzymes to break down that food while I'm still eating it. I don't even have to swallow yet, and my system from my mouth all the way to the end of the line at my rear end. That is my digestive system. That's begun the process of feeding me, and as I'm eating that and it's doing that, my stomach is preparing through signaling. It's preparing to receive this food. That's why a person who takes 1 or 2 bites and swallows is really hurting himself. There's nothing prepared anywhere. The signals haven't been sent. The brain hasn't been allowed to respond. The stomach is not allowed, has not been allowed to prepare. And also the pancreas, which sits in behind the stomach, does more than just insulin. It also produces other digestive enzymes, which are designed, motilin and others, which are designed to precede the entrance of the food. So if we just wolf it down, none of that signaling goes on. That food is no more digested than a lot of the digestive process does not continue for that food. And despite your best efforts at any stretch, at that point, you're not going to digest that food the way you should have or get out of it what you should have. And you're going to create some downstream problems in the bowel area. So start chewing. It comes down, it comes into the system. That system now is prepared. It's shoved some motilin into the stomach and prepared. It's taken water from the stomach and prepared motilin and sent it back and is now dealing with that food as it comes in. If I turn around and resupply more and more water into this, as I'm water, milk, or anything else, water, I don't care what the liquid is. I say water because milk, because anything other than water is a food, and has something in it that will prevent it from being utilized as water would be. But at any rate, water or liquids thrown into this process dilute everything that's been put into the stomach in preparation for the food to come in.
Oh, okay. So the things like the hormones and the enzymes that the pancreas is putting into the stomach and all the signaling that takes place for the stomach to receive the food, fluids will dilute it.
That's correct.
Okay.
Will mitigate and minimize the effectiveness of those fluids.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, obviously, that's our lifestyle. We always drink fluids with our meals.
Absolutely.
So that's something we don't even realize that we're doing.
And we need to minimize that. In other words, I'm no fool. I mean, to turn around and tell somebody that they're going to have to absolutely do away with that, because that's something we've done all our lives. You're asking somebody to do something they mentally will not do. And so that will downregulate their enthusiasm about everything else.
Sure.
So I'm just saying, pour half a glass and take it to the table with you, and try to make sure that when you leave, as little of it is gone as possible.
What's the threshold? I mean, how much time before this process starts? How much time after you eat? Do you want to? You
should allow a good 15 to 20 minutes after you've eaten before you really start drinking liquids.
Okay. And any problem with drinking liquids before you start eating?
You shouldn't be drinking them within 20 minutes of sitting down to eat.
So same on either side, 15, 20 minutes before and after. 20 minutes either side of a meal makes plenty good sense. Okay.
Yep. And chew the meal good.
Sure.
You don't want to hoof down. You know what? I've seen people take a hamburger and have it gone in 4 bites. I just can't understand that. And I mean gone. I haven't even started my salad yet. I just blows me away. So, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want a bad stomach. What's actually, boom, here it is.
Well, I think that's really important information, because I didn't even realize that, and we've been doing this for how long? I didn't understand the fact that, our stomach is getting these signals,
the signals
from
are
chewing.
Exactly.
and it's producing these enzymes and hormones, and we're depleting those enzymes and hormones.
We tend not to think, Travis, I think, of a system that starts at our lips and ends at the bottom of our rear end. We tend not to think that. Our faces are one thing which contain our lips, and that's, then from there we breathe, and so we know we've got lungs and a throat that serves that purpose. We've got a stomach, we know where food goes. And then from there we know when we got to go to the bathroom. We break those things into idiosyncratic functions of their own, and we fail to see that as a completed system. It really is a completed system.
Sure.
These people that go through bariatric surgery where they have their stomach pinned and all of that, boy, their life becomes miserable. It becomes really something that the body's not prepared for. It's not part of the game. It's not part of the DNA. It's not how it's supposed to happen. And they have to go through eating 2 ounces of food every 10 times a day or something, and just to keep nutrients in them. You don't mess with what God put together here. You give it what it's supposed to have, and it'll give you back the health it's designed to do. That's all there is to it. So, we need to think about that. The minute you begin feeding yourself is the minute you put it in your mouth. Chewing it well was what we were designed to do. That's why we were given teeth. From there on out, everything happens in some form of logical fashion according to the biochemistry of the human body. And we need to think about how we, because of our own crude tastes, how we just ignore that. It's a synchrony of activities that take place in almost a symphony. And we just totally ignore it. We blunder our way through it. And we give it what we darn well feel like. Appealing to sweet, sour, salt, and bitter. We appeal to our senses of taste and our smell, and we get satisfied with that, and that's as far as we need to go mentally. But in the meantime, there's this entire 60 trillion cell depending on us to make sense of this. And we fail it so often.
Getting down to the cellular level, this is what our cells expect of us. This is what we need to give them. It's completely within our control to give our cells what they need. And in doing so, we're talking about completely eliminating diabetes, cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and a myriad of other diseases.
But indeed, it truly is there. The DNA is the code. If anybody asks me what I consider health to be, can I define the quality of good health? Good health is the application of the DNA program. If we would obey the code written in our DNA, then our cells would perform according to that code. It's us that absconds with that code. We're the ones that mess it up. We're the ones that refuse to apply ourselves to what the cells ask of us. We get a sense then of ourselves as a whole human being, but then we also get the sense that we are no longer able to, with disregard, do anything that we care to do to ourselves. We now must take a look at what we require to generate that quality of health, that application of the proper DNA code.